Okay, so we're back with Blender and we're gonna convert or process the jumping animation. So again, make sure your Blender project is cleared, or the scene is cleared. Let's import the jumping animation, which is this one, and let's play it. See how it kind of looks like. Actually, this is even longer. This one ends at 73. This is what I'm doing right now about changing the starting and end frame. It's totally optional. It has nothing to do with the extraction, but it shows us what's going on. So we can see that in this animation, what is interesting now for this animation, and this is very important, is there is a change on the distance from the character to the floor or to the ground as the animation proceeds. Okay, so right now we have not converted the character. This is how the animation comes from Mixamo. You can see that the root transform is at the 0, 0 of the scene, so nothing has been extracted yet. Okay, so when we're gonna do now the root motion extraction, we're gonna click the button and let's see what happens. Now pay attention to what is going on. Look at the dot. You see that here's the follow as I manually move the animation. Look how the dot moves around and brings all of that data, and it ends. And you also can see it here on the transform itself, on that as I manually change the keyframes, we can see that the data changes. And of course, the biggest changes are, of course, in translation, but also in the z-axis, which is the up vector. Okay, this is ready. So all we need to do now is, and again, from this data, you can do several things. You can force, for example, the X translations to be 0 if you want to fine tune that data. You can also even cancel the translation in the Y axis if you want it not to move forward. Just for kicks, let's do it. Actually, even before doing that, let's export as is. So we're just going to click export and all is good. Now we can do more things. For example, on the y-axis, I'm going to clear that data and look what happens. Look how weird the animation looks like. You know, it definitely is still, you can see that the root node changes in the z-axis up and down as the animation progresses. So again, these are post-processing features of Lumbermixalot. Helps you fine-tune your animation for clearing some axis data that looks noisy, or sometimes you really want a weird effect where even though the character is supposed to be moving or translating, you want to cancel that in a particular axis to accomplish the visual feature that you're looking for. And so we already exported it, so let's see how this animation looks in O3DE. So we are where we were left off on the character that we left it walking. So the first time we export an animation, and only the first time, which in this case the jumping animation, all we need to go always is to open it on the FBX settings and pick the root bone, which is root node.armature. We're gonna update it. Okay, let's go to the animation editor we have a workspace already. And let's open the jumping animation. And there it is. As the character runs and jumps, you can see that the character is moving forward. Now, what is interesting in the jumping animation is that even though we can see the root motion transform changing in Y, that arrow is still a stick to the floor, but we are 100% sure we did root motion extraction on the Z height. So something it's not yet as we wanted. It's not the complete root motion. And the idea is that by default, when we bring animations, and we don't capture the height changes, so we need to go to the jumping motion and enable this checkbox. Okay, and then we want to save it. We're going to click on the jumping animation, and now look at the difference. Now we can see that there is changes in height in the arrows. So this is the true root motion. Not only we capture translations in the y-axis, but also on the z-axis. But the z, the height, the changes in the z direction has to manually enable, as I show. I'm gonna do save all. And let's go back to O3DE, and we're going to go to the actor, to the simple motion, and we're going to click on the jumping motion. So it is resetting here on the editor, but let's see it in action in gameplay mode, in game mode. You can see now the character is moving. And that's it for the jumping animation. Let's now cover a little bit of there is a dancing animation that has where the character actually rotates and around the z-axis, and we want to capture that data into the root motion bone or node, and we're going to show you how that works.